how much the film is a personal journey for you, if you can include the question a little.
Absolutely. So the film is very much a personal journey for me on so many levels, because I was 12 years old when I wanted to become a filmmaker. So to now 30 years later be here at this moment, that's its own journey in and of itself. But also the film is very much inspired by my own coming of age journey when I was 12 years old and I went through this experience of the Oka crisis. So in so many ways, the making of the film is this personal journey, and achieving a dream I set out to achieve all those years back. But also the film looks at the coming of age journey I went through in terms of being a very innocent Indigenous girl to being very confused and very angry and filled with hate, to finding my way through that, and now working to do what I can to ensure that these terrible types of events never happen again.
The sad thing is that I think events like this, they still happen.
Oh my God. We're watching them play out on our screens every day, especially in the United States, but really it's a global issue.
Don't you think, why do you think this society is so cruel in general?
Well, one of my hypotheses, which I do put into the film, is that it really is a cycle. When anyone experiences that kind of violence, injustice, it impacts you. It changes you. It rips you apart. Honestly, I mean, I can speak from personal experience here, and then that hole breeds hate and anger as well. And if you don't know how to get away from its grip, there's a very good chance that you're just going to go and perpetuate it yourself, and then we just end up in this cycle. So I mean, that is what I wanted to show in the film, is how these instances impact this little girl. And I know it took me many years to find my way out of it myself, and I'm really glad I did. But I think a lot of people don't find their way out, and we end up stuck in this cycle.
It's very sad to see how the loss of innocence is related to the aggression to their own community. Could you talk a little about the parallels between the loss of innocence and the violence from the white community against the First Nation?
Absolutely. So I grew up, I think, just like any other kid, having a lot of fun, playing in the mud, laughing, staying up late. It was a very idyllic childhood, and I did grow up on the reserve, and I went to a Mohawk immersion school, so I grew up speaking my language. I grew up knowing my culture, but I knew it all within the own bubble of my family and my community, and I didn't understand where we fit within the bigger world, because I was a kid and I didn't yet need that understanding. And so though that moment, that summer, and that violence was really what shattered just this very safe, innocent perspective I had, I guess, on life. And I realized in the most horrible way just how dangerous the world was and is, and also that who I was born doesn't necessarily fit into society, into that safe narrative. I was other, and that is very shattering for a child to realize that maybe there's something wrong with them, and to not understand that it's actually, there's nothing wrong with me, there's something wrong with our society. But when you're young, everything is about you. So yeah, violence, it just completely shatters any sense of safety and happiness very dramatically and very quickly. But I will say that I think the loss of innocence can also be a slow grind. And that happens to many people as well. It just so happened in my case, it was just a very quick blow that happened.
How important is it for you as a filmmaker to be at the Toronto Film Festival?
It's very important. So I have been going to TIFF for years as an aspiring filmmaker, and just taking in the festival, taking in all of these incredible films. I've been a part of 2 of their professional development programs and was able to meet with filmmakers coming in who were premiering their films, and was so inspired by their stories. And the dream always was, okay, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna premiere my film here. So it was the big goal that I set for myself. So to now be back and to have the premiere, yeah, it feels great. And it's, you know, it's like a check mark off of like, okay, goal achieved. It's, you know, I'm sitting in my living room, so I'm not taking in all the action, but having the film come out right now because of what the film has to say to the time period we live in, that is what is most important to me. I can bypass the red carpet. I can bypass the parties for that purpose.
How therapeutical was it for you to see the movie in the premiere night?
It was so lovely. Yeah, that happened on Sunday, and it was a socially distanced screening. So we only had 50 people in each theater. It was very strange to have this giant theater with only a few people. But what I told myself was it was a very, very special VIP screening. These were very, very special people who had come out to see it. To show it on the big screen with that incredible sound system, I mean, that is the way it is meant to be seen. So it was very satisfying to be able to experience that. I also had my mother there, my sister there, who had lived through this with me, my nieces, my husband. So to share this with them, it was really, really special.